passive man, and he was having trouble. His wife wasn't satisfied with him, and he was just kind of passive and laid back. And so his wife says, well, you know, I mean, he's just kind of passive in their romance, passive in everything. So we need to go to counseling. So they go to a counselor, and the counselor, you know, sits there and talks to him, and he's just like, yeah, 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 yeah. Just passive, just yeah. Finally, the counselor just got fed up. I mean, he just got fed up. He walks up to the other man's wife, and he just lays a big lip locker kiss on her. And he says, she needs that at least once a week. And he says, well, I'll bring her by then once a week.
Yep.
Your marriage may be in trouble if that's the way you think.
No kidding. Okay, so last week, passing in a review real quick, I talked about the 4 things that your spouse is. Your spouse is your treasure, and I talked about it with a teacup and how, you know, we want to build.
You didn't talk very good about me, though. I was kind of surprised when I watched it. I thought you would talk about all the treasures that I am to you.
But you interrupted me. I was just getting to that point, and then you interrupted me.
Yeah, didn't it? The video worked out good last week, didn't it? It was kind of cool stuff. All right.
So we talked about how your spouse is your treasure, and I used a teacup and how, you know, that teacup's precious to me, and I'm going to treasure it and do what I can do to protect it and keep it because it was old. It was like 60 years old. It was my grandma's. And so with our marriage, it's the same thing as our spouse is our treasure, and we need to protect them. The second thing is I talked about how your spouse is your support, and we lock arms and we stand together. There's times that I'm emotional in situations, but that's when Glenn rises up and takes charge and says, okay, we're going to do this and this and this. And so we're there to join together and help each other in our marriage.
There's times you're emotional? Is that?
A few.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, number 3.
Actually, you're really pretty good about that stuff.
Thank you. The third thing is we are we're our spouse's helper. In Genesis 2:18 it says God made Adam a helper. And so I looked at that as it's no longer the Ward and June Cleaver. So funny, last week I said Wally and Judy Cleaver, and their friend Wally and Judy Ellis, or no, whatever.
Wally and Judy,
It's not
Florida, Wally and Judy.
Yeah, they're from Florida, but that's who I was thinking of. But anyway.
Who we sit around their kitchen table and eat cookie dough every when we go down there. It's really fun.
And so we're no longer is it just the Ward and June Cleaver household with June wearing her little pearls and going around and cleaning house and her cute little skirts. It's the family working together. I personally
like that. I think that would be better myself.
Of course you do.
I think we should go back to that.
I don't think so. Okay. It's not happening.
Okay, I know.
And so it's working together. Glenn helps around the house. As much as I ask him to help, he helps with dishes. He does, you know, he's a part of the family. He's
And I ask her almost daily, is there anything you'd like me to do? And I thank God the answer is usually no. That vacuum cleaner is left-handed, and I can't figure out a way that vacuum cleaner is left-handed. So.
And with a family, it takes everybody working together.
It does, really.
And so it's really, because with two people in the household, full-time jobs, it's going to take a lot more than just one person taking care of the household. And then the last one I talked about how our spouse is our BFF. And that I reserve that for Glenn. I have girlfriends that are basically, I consider best friends, but it's not, I don't say, you're my bestie, because then somebody's going to get left out.
Yeah.
And so Glenn is my best friend. After that, they're good friends. I consider them best friends, but I don't give them that title.
And you say best friends. That doesn't mean one person's your best friend. Yeah.
Multiple people. And so that's where we dream together. We talk about church. We love the church. And so we're together doing stuff in the church. And so that's a very big key. And when you're looking for a spouse, that you need to make sure that they love the church and they're plugged into the church, because in general you're not going to have so many problems down the road if they're both, you know, loving God as much as you're loving God.
I said this in the beginning of the series, and I think we're on our 4th week. Probably go a couple more weeks. And sometimes you'll see Theresa and I together. Sometimes you'll see me, whatever. But I said this, I think if you do marriage well, you generally do church well. And if you do church well, you generally do marriage well. And they kind of are simultaneous, one with the two. And
I think so.
And so I think it's important. You should be plugged into a local church. If you're not plugged into a local church, I think you're really robbing your family of greatness. There's just something about being, and not just any local church. You don't want to be in some dead place that's drying up, but some place that's going for the things of God, and you're involved in the things of God, and your vision is around doing and helping people and doing something for the kingdom of God. I think that's valuable and important.
And we don't have much in common, but we do have church in common. We both love the church.
Yeah, I think that's probably our greatest thing is we love Jesus and we love the church. Today we want to talk to you about how to enjoy a long-term marriage. I want to give you 7 keys that we feel like have been, you know, helps to us in the sense of what is, you know, we've been married 30 years, and we really have not had the struggles that a lot of people have. Matter of fact, you know, we don't like to talk about it too much because people get mad at us, but we've never raised our voices to each other in 30 years. We've felt that heat and that tension, but we've never really had, you know, we work out our arguments and our differences by I think the first one we're going to talk about, I think, is the key in that, is number 1 out of 7 is you need to submit to one to the other in the fear of God. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 21 says, and this is where I read out of my marriage ceremony a lot of times, it says, submitting one to the other in the fear of God. I think that's so vitally important because with Theresa and I both, I think the reason why we probably have had the marriage that we've had, successful marriage, and people think that successful marriage means that, you know, it's been all smooth. We haven't had smoothness because we're ministers. It's never smooth in the ministry. But our marriage is, and it's not like we don't, you know, dislike things that each other does and things like that. But I think the key for us is the lordship of Jesus over our home is really the key in everything that we do. Mm-hmm. See, I care what Theresa thinks. I really do. But I care more what God thinks than I do what Theresa thinks. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's about, you know, we say that, you know, a lot of times we've never really raised our voices and stuff, is because if I raise my voice, I got to deal with God and not just with my wife. So I always look at, it's kind of like that person where, it's kind of like if Theresa and I are going after each other talking, it's like him standing there going like this. You guys through yet? When are you gonna grow up, you two big babies? You know, and it says, submitting, notice what it says. It says, submitting one to the other in the what?
Fear.
Fear of God. Now, the fear of God doesn't mean I don't fear that he's going to put sickness on me. I don't fear that he's going to put disease on me. I don't fear that he's going to take my business, because that's not God. What I fear is placing myself out of God's protection and onto the devil's territory. Because the Bible says, don't let the sun go down upon your wrath. So the submission to and the lordship of Jesus is probably the number one reason that we have the marriage that we have. Would you agree?
Amen. I agree. And it's not, you know, one of the things that I think it's easy for us is to be a people pleaser instead of being a God pleaser. And so it's really important for us to constantly say, okay, God, is this pleasing unto you? Is what I'm doing, this choice I'm going to make, is it pleasing unto you? And that helps, because then we're submitting unto him in everything that we're doing, not just when we feel like it, or not just when it seems right, or seems like it's not going to hurt my feelings, or it's not going to hurt what I want to do. It's what do you want for me to do? And so it's just constantly submitting to him and knowing that it's not being pleasing unto man or to our spouse. But if we're choosing to say, okay, God, are my words going to be pleasing unto you, then they're going to be pleasing unto my spouse. Mm-hmm. If they're not pleasing to God, then obviously they're not going to be pleasing unto my spouse. And so with that, sometimes it's a walk of faith. We go to Faith Center to learn how to walk by faith. And so we go after the things of God because we want to learn how to walk by faith. And so not all the time are situations going to be perfect, but that's where we're going to say, okay, God, I choose not to do what I want to do. What do you want me to do in this situation? And that's where we can turn things around. If things are rocky or shaky, you just believe God that he's going to show you what to do so you can have the best possible marriage on earth.
Yeah, and again, I think that's really the key, is just literally give up. Don't do things your way. See, divorce is never mentioned in our home. Mm-mm. We don't even think about it. We want to save marriages if we can. We're not trying to, you know, we're trying to save marriages as best we can, because it's always better to save the marriage if you can. And so, and I think that comes back to, what does God think about marriage? What does God think about that? Now, no condemnation to people that are divorced, please. That's not our thing here, is because if you've been divorced, welcome you at Faith Center. We love you, believe in you. God has a great future for you. But if you're married, let's try to hang on to that as best we can, and maybe and it takes two, of course, to do that. So, anything else on one? All right, let's go on to number 2. I think the second one is that we have a happy home because we have developed a level of loyalty with one another and trust with one another. What I mean by that is just simply this: Theresa can open any one of she can have my email, my password. I actually do this sometimes. She probably doesn't know I do this, but even sometimes you know, I'll leave my phone on the kitchen counter and go up and take a shower. You know, I'm married to my, you know how we're all married to our phones. But
It's a security blanket.
I'll put my phone on the kitchen counter and I leave it there because I want her to feel free to look at my phone anytime she wants to. Because that develops a loyalty with one another. I mean, you know, if you're always like, you can't be without your phone, and you know, and why, it's like we're afraid to ask. We're afraid to ask the question, can I have your password? Because we're almost afraid of what the answer will be. Mm-hmm. So why not just, when you set those things up, just give them the password and the thing right away? Because, you know, I was thinking about this. Cassidy was down in Tulsa, and she said, she's on my Twitter account or something, and she said, your profile picture looks stupid on there. I said, well, change it for me. I said, here's my password. And when I said, here's my password to Cassidy, and she changed my profile pic, well, this is 6 months ago or something like that. She went into my Facebook and da-da-da and got the picture off there, whatever she did. I don't even know what she did, but she changed it and said, that looks better. I said, well, thank you, sweetie, whatever. She's like our adopted daughter. But I didn't have to think about, my point is just simply this. I didn't have to think, uh-oh, now see, if I gave her my password, what would she, you know, on my Facebook, what would be on there? And what if she got onto my private messages? And it was just like, yeah, here's my password. And I think that develops a loyalty and a trust between two people. Who's clapping their hands?
Oh, sorry, I didn't clap because I was dirty. I was clapping because I was support.
It'd take me about 2 more times. The whole congregation would be doing that, you know.
Yep.
What else?
You know, it takes time to build trust. You know, Glenn and I have built trust over years, but it takes just a few seconds to destroy it. And so it's just something that to us, trust is so precious and so valuable that we don't want to do anything that's going to destroy it. And I have so many passwords. I have passwords like on my laptop. I have passwords in my contacts in my phone. And so it's like, those things are always open as well for me. And so it's not like that because girls can go and do crazy things on the internet or whatever. And so it's just.
I don't even know any of her passwords because I just trust her that much. But I'm watching you, girl.
Great.
You're looking hot today.
Thank you.
I'm telling you what. So I think loyalty, I think loyalty is the best way. And then this is probably a good thing. You know, if you're driving down the road in the summertime and you're driving and you're the guy, and Miss Bikini's across the road, you don't go, whoa, and your wife's standing right there. You don't go, whoa, whoa.
Or even think that, but looking.
What you do is you go, keep your eyes on how's it going today, baby? How's it going today? Now, you may think that's funny, but that develops loyalty and trust.
Yep.
That develops loyalty and trust. And then when you really get good and you really get spiritual and God really is in your world, you're driving by yourself and you talk to somebody else over there during that time. Now we know you're like David that ran out of the house when Potiphar's wife was trying to seduce him.
Yep.
Now we know you got, or Joseph's wife. Well, Potiphar's wife was trying to seduce Joseph.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Did I get the Bible story right? If
David
you're dirty and you know it, clap your hands.
David had a few issues too, but you know.
Yeah, he did.
He just kind of knocked him off. He just,
Yeah.
But with
we won't go into that one.
With the whole thing that with Glenn is that I know that he has made that covenant with his eyes, and so I know that when he's with me, that's what he's doing. But when he's in private, he's doing that as well. And so that's the thing, that trust takes time to develop that and to be able to know that when they're by themselves or you're not at home, to run lordship over top of them, that they're clean and they're doing what's right.
Isn't it? I'll tell you, it's really nice to have a marriage where you go out and you're not wondering if you're going to run into somebody you're not supposed to run into, or something's going to come up, and you're always in fear and darkness, and it's just not good, man. Get it out of the light. We're just talking about how to enjoy your marriage, how to lay the foundation for having a great and enjoyable 30. We've had 30 years, and we feel like these are some of the keys. The next one is, I hope your family is full of laughter. You need to laugh. Proverbs 17:22 says this: a merry heart does good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. Is there laughter in your home? If there's not, figure out a way to get laughter in your home. There's something about having fun and laughing together. And my wife doesn't laugh at my jokes anymore, but she doesn't laugh at my jokes anymore, but
I laughed at you dancing this morning.
That was last night.
Oh, that was last night. That's right. It was last night.
That was with my towel on out of the shower. I was
Yeah.
dancing a little bit, and, you know. But I did have my towel on, thank God.
Yes.
I'm 53. You got to put your towel on now, you know.
Okay, next point.
And the towel's clear up to here.
Yep. We have fun.
I know Joel used to hate this, and he may not even remember it, but when Joel would get, you know, at 11, 12 years old, he would get mad or something like that, and I would grab his hands, and I'd make him look at me, and he'd just be all ticked off, and I'd say, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." You remember those, Joel? Yeah.
Pretty soon he'd laugh. He'd smile.
He'd laugh because his dad's acting so stupid. He'd laugh.
Yep.
We have a good time, though.
We
When
do.
Joel comes over, and Joel's a funny kid, and we come from a line of funny people. Ryan, Theresa's brother's right here, and these people cut up. I'm telling you, we cut up, and we have a lot of fun. So.
Yep. And so it's very good for us to do fun things, to have fun together, and not always be so serious. Because serious is not fun. I mean, it's okay to be serious. There's times, but it's more fun to laugh. I just heard something the other day, and they said it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. And so it's healthy for us. It's very good for us. Do you know what movie that's from?
What's
Not
that?
always so, don't always be so serious.
Nope.
Yes. No.
Batman?
I'm probably saying it wrong.
Jeremiah Johnson?
Why? She says.
Shawshank Redemption?
No. She says, why are you always so serious? It's in Mandy and the one with the preacher's daughter that falls in love with the kid.
yeah.
There's a point in that. Is it? I
A
thought
Walk
it
to
was that,
Remember.
but I said no, it wasn't.
Walk to Remember, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like, why are you always so
It's a
serious?
chick flick, and I got to
Yeah.
confess, I actually like that movie.
It's a cute movie.
Because there's a redemption in a kid. I love the redemption
Yep.
in a kid.
And so you have to have fun. I mean, I have a tendency to naturally be so serious because there's always things that I'm thinking about that I need to be doing or whatever.
I'm thinking about a lot of things you need to be doing, too.
So seriousness doesn't always pay off for your household to run happily.
So
Okay.
what do we do for some of that stuff? We have fun, we talk, we laugh, we joke.
Joke, tease.
You don't laugh at my jokes anymore, though.
Some.
Yeah, some you do.
Some.
I dance and stuff like that in the mirror, and she just kind of like, whatever.
It's like I can see him out of the corner of my eye. I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus. Just stay looking straight ahead. If I don't encourage it, it'll stop.
It hasn't worked for 30 years.
No. But
Still dancing, baby, still
yeah.
dancing.
But I have to say that before we got married, all the guys that I dated, and Glenn and I dated in high school before either one of us are Christians, and we broke up, went our separate ways for a few years, and then ended up getting back together and got married. And I remember going through in high school, and after we broke, or I think maybe when we were dating, I don't remember, it doesn't matter. But I remember thinking if I ever was to marry somebody, I would love it to be somebody like Glenn because he was so fun. All the other guys were just like serious, all so serious. And so we had fun together. We'd laugh together, enjoy each other, and we ended up getting married together.
Yes, we did.
Get
It's funny,
married.
I said that same thing about if there's anybody I would want to marry, be somebody like you. And we ended up married. But I think just having fun, and one of the things I think part of that too is laughter, but that goes with just having fun. Family vacations,
Yeah.
For us, we feel like if kids weren't raised around a campfire, they just don't even, shouldn't,
Yeah.
I'm not even sure they understand the world unless you were raised around a campfire. And we have fun. I mean, we work hard, but we play hard. I love golf. I play golf. I love golf. I love to play. I love riding my Harley. I love to hunt. Nothing better to me than my son and Jay Peach hunting together 3.5 miles back at camp, 2.5 miles back at camp, and in the middle of nowhere where no cell phones can possibly reach us. And, that is just a blast to me. I just have so much fun with that. And I think sometimes we take life so serious that we just forget to enjoy life.
Yeah, I think so too.
It seems like when we be Christians, we've got this mission to outreach, and we need to do that. But there's nothing wrong with outreaching with fun. You need to enjoy your life also and have a lot of fun.
We generally, when we do vacations or do trips, we generally always we're going to a conference or we have other people that are going with us, and it seems like we're always doing that. Well, when we went last year to Paris for my 50th birthday, we went over there, and we were going by our cell phone. I think we both kind of looked at each other and went, we're going by ourselves. What do we do then? And so we got over there, and we had so much fun. It was a great time just hanging out. And I think sometimes it's easy for us, because of the kids, because of responsibilities, it's easy to always have those kids with us or have those responsibilities with us and not just have this time together. You know, there was something I just read, or was on Twitter, I think, and it said that when you spend time with your spouse, put your cell phone away or put it on mute or whatever, because why bring a third person into your time together?
How come we've never done that?
We have.
When?
Occasionally. Sometimes we're going to start, okay?
Joel comes over and we have 3 cell phones and we're all looking down like this.
That's after we've talked a while. We don't do that the whole time. But it's really important. It's really easy to get so distracted with everything that's going on that when you are together, that you're not together.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to have that time.
We got to get going.
Okay.
Think longevity. Be in marriage for life. I think again, this is just a foundational thing for a good marriage. Think of longevity, lifetime. It's a lifetime deal. We should be in this for a lifetime. I'm committed to Theresa for my whole entire life. And when I said I do, I do. That's it. I'm a person of my word. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. If I can at all make it happen, I do it. If I can make it happen, I'm going to do it. And so if I say, you know, I'm married to you for the rest of my life, I'm married to you for the rest of my life. She can get out, but I can't. And she feels the same way. I can get out, but she can't. So that's the way. So, and I hate to see marriages break up for a 6-month downturn, emotional downturn in your marriage. A lot of marriages break up. And if you just get through that 6 months, you find that it would just last. And I think in the beginning stages of marriage, in your 20s and 30s, it's all about passion and sex and you know, and all that kind of stuff. And when you get older, it's about that still, but it's more about family and relationships, and you value
time together.
The time and the people around you. And I think about all the people in our lives that have served with us for so long, and the Whites and the Washburns and the Trendas and you know, the Rogers and all these different people and the Waldersdorf just have served with us for so long. And it's just such a joy to be with those people. I love life. And we love life and we love relationships. But none of that would have happened if we would have just, oh, I'm done. I'm out of here. Just something about spending time together, longevity. I just figured I'm married to Theresa for the rest of my life, so I better make it work.
Amen.
And we made it work.
Amen.
You have anything on that?
And with marriage, when you're getting ready to get married, if you're not willing to spend 40 to 60 years with that person, then you need to really seriously think about whether or not you should marry that person. It's just knowing that it's at least going to be that amount of time. It can be less, but going into it knowing that am I really willing to commit to this person for that long? And that will make you change, because sometimes you think, yeah, I can be with them for a little while, but maybe not that long of a period of time. So you need to really regroup. Glenn brought this oyster shell back to me from the Philippines several years ago.
I was snorkeling in Subic Bay, and I bought that off a vendor that pulled up in a little tiny boat next to us.
Should have got 2 so I could have pearl earrings. They'd be real pearl earrings.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyway, so it's this. If you can see it, I don't know if you can.
I was with Jeff Simmons, so I don't know if Jeff's here this morning, but I was with Jeff Simmons.
I forgot about that. Yeah. So this oyster has this. I'll turn it that way. Maybe you can see it better. Has this huge pearl on it. That's basically the whole shell has become pearlized because of it trying to get rid of this pearl. And if you know this, if everybody I'm sure knows the story of a pearl, that basically it's a grain of sand or something that gets in there, and the oyster is trying to get it out, and so it encapsulates it, and it continues to build these layers upon that grain to try to get it out. Well, that oyster is willing to take however long it takes to get this out, to get that piece of grain out, because it's just its natural process. And with us, with life, we need to commit to whatever it's going to take to make it work and to make our marriage a success. And so longevity is just committing to it and saying, nope, I'm going to do it. I'm here for the duration. And we're going to make it a good duration.
Amen. Got to hurry. Number 5, listening. Listening. We need to listen to one another. I wasn't listening to you right there, but I'm listening to each other.
I already said my point for this, so you can feel free to coast. Yeah.
Okay. Listening is...
It was the cell phone thing. Do you want me to reiterate it?
No. Yeah, I've listened to you long enough. Listening is something we need.
Oh, there'll be plenty more.
When I say listening, I'm not talking about listening in the sense of just hearing words, but listening with the sense of hearing hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you coming from on that? I think like a man, you think like a woman. You gotta teach me here, because I know it beyond 1,000% that I'm absolutely right in this situation, but I'm probably not. And so there's times where I just have to say, okay, I need to hear what she's saying. And communication, listen to this, communication is not what you say, communication is what they hear you say.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is not what you say, it's what they hear you say.
Amen.
So listening is so important in that.
And even to say back, sorry, I lied.
No, go ahead.
Even to say back, this is what I heard you say. And if that person says, no, that's not what I said, then say, okay, what did you say? So it's communicating to make sure it's clarification, because I think I did that sometimes, that I would take it wrong. And so if I didn't say, what do you mean by that, then I would misread it.
Yeah.
And so it's very good.
And I think you can set ground rules for even arguments.
Mm-hmm.
If some of you are screamers and yellers and haven't got out of that yet, then you need to set ground rules in your peaceful times of how your arguments are going to go. And number one is you don't leave.
Mm-hmm.
You don't leave. Because leaving is the first step to divorce. So you don't leave, you stay in until things are worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Hide the guns and stay in until everything's worked out. Listening is very important. Then number 6 is patience. Patience is probably, and again, we're just laying the groundwork for what we feel like has made our marriage good, is patience. Patience opens the door for opinions to be heard. Patience, you're going to have patience with one another, because whenever two rivers flow together, there's always turbulence. And so there's got to be patience in that time. I think we have to have less for each other now, because we understand and know each other and how each other thinks. Especially at the beginning, it's important that you understand that, for me, like, there's a chair. We have this chair by our bed on my side of the bed, and then she has a couch on the other side of the bed over there. And the chair, to me, is the place where you put your clothes. I mean, I don't sit in the chair. What would you want to sit in the chair in the bedroom for? I can sit on the bed. The chair is to put my clothes on. And so every once in a while, I put clothes on there,
Once in a while.
Well, now here's my thing. When I come for prayer and everything, I have all my clothes laid out, ready to go for the morning. So I have my shoes, my socks, my shirts,
like a person
everything.
sitting
It's
there.
like a person sitting there ready to go, and I just put it on and I'm ready to go. So, but she doesn't like piles laying around. She doesn't like that.
That's a different pile.
Hey, I've seen the couch on your side of the bed, too. There's quite a bit of stuff
Clear
over there.
off.
Yeah, sure. Well, but we have to have patience for one another, and I
Mm-hmm.
think patience is just because there's a difference.
Amen. In 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, this is the New Living Translation. It says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up. Love never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance.
Which is our last point, is the love of God, the agape love of God. And I think this is the key to everything. I started with submitting yourself under the lordship of Jesus. I'm going to end with this, which is pretty much the same thing, is the kind of God love that we love our spouses with is not the love that comes and goes. It's not the love that, if you please me sexually, I love you. If you please me because you make good meals, then I love you. This kind of love is the love that started on the day that I said I do. That means I'm going to love her the rest of my life. In spite of feelings, in spite of ups, in spite of downs, the love of God says, I love you no matter what. Mm-hmm. And so with that kind of foundational love, feelings are not the driving force behind our love for each other. Feelings do not matter in our love. Mm-hmm. I do not love my wife because of feelings. Now, do I have feelings for her? Absolutely, because the feelings are there, because I've laid the rock and the foundation of the agape love that I'm going to love her in spite of feelings. Mm-hmm. Then the feelings are there. But so many people, well, we just grew out of love. No, you might have grown apart because you weren't communicating and things like that, but the reality is you didn't grow out of love. You just really never understood the God kind of love that says, I love you no matter what.
Or they rode those feelings.
Or they rode the feelings out the door. So anything on that?
Yep. And I just want to say that I love you, but I love us better. together and going through for the things of God that we are accomplishing together. And so it's good to know that we have a good marriage. We have a healthy marriage. We don't have, there's so many things that our life has been built upon, but I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else other than you, because we've had a great life. I mean, we always say sentimental things on cards and do all that kind of thing, but it's just, I mean, it's good. We talk about it frequently about how we love our life together, but I can't imagine my life without Glenn. I love my life because of Glenn and because of what you bring out of me or I bring out of you.
Yeah,
I
think
love
so.
that together.
I think we make each other better, and I think that's the key, is we make each other better. And I want to say that to you, too. I think that God placed us together, and as a matter of fact, I told you this story before, but God placed us together, and he said he's going to make two somethings out of two nothings. And the reason why he's done that is simply because I think that our marriage we have one of the best marriages I know. And it's evolved over the years into different things. And you know, like I said, the 20s and 30s is a lot about passion and different things, and now it's more about family and future and thoughts and legacy and all those kind of things. Those things are more important than the passion part of things. Not that passion's gone by any means, but those things are important. And it seems like but marriage evolves. And I think my dad married 4 times, and how many countless affairs, I don't know. But I think my dad was looking for the high of the dating thing. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, she's hot. I'm going after her. Ooh, can hardly wait to get her in the sack. Ooh, I got her in the sack. Now we're married. Now we got to clean underwear. Now we got to do all this kind of stuff. Oh, this isn't what I thought. She's changed. No, now we're the same person we always have. It's just that marriage settles into a place, and that love is deep. It's not the same as that honeymoon passion. It's just deep and solid, and there's something about it that Theresa and I together, I don't think we would have 1/10 of what we have if we were apart. I think together we make something fantastic. Apart, I'm not sure we'd do the same. So.